Welcome to the webinar. My name is Sapir. If you don't know me yet, I'm a dropshipper and I run eBay stores for SaleFreaks. And these webinars are meant to help you, for me to share my knowledge with you and help you make your business more successful and profitable using SaleFreaks, of course. So today we're doing the second part that we started talking about last week, which is how to get to 10 stores from a single store. So if you watched the last webinar, or if you haven't, let me just recap it for you. We talked about the importance of really keeping multiple accounts. We talked about, in general, how to create those accounts if you're a non-US citizen, or if you are, or if you just want an American account, where to get them. So we talked about this forum called Aspkin, which is aspkin.com. Go check it out, which you can purchase accounts from there. And we talked about the importance of taking things slow. Okay, really, we talked about that you can get 10 accounts at once, but you probably won't be able to maintain them. Okay, you'll lose them. You'll get an MC0111. You'll get a suspension of some sort, because if you don't establish each account at their time, it won't last. Okay, so today we're going to talk about the second part. So let's talk about our topics for today, guys. So today we're going to talk about, I promised you to talk more, straightforward. Okay, so today we're going to talk about how to get the store running. Okay, you get a new store, you bought it or you created it, doesn't matter, how you get it running. Okay, of course, while avoiding the dreaded MC011. Okay, then we'll talk about when it's time to integrate more suppliers. Okay, because here in SaleFreaks we do support not only Amazon but other good suppliers, and it's really shame not to use them. And lastly, we'll talk about when to hire a VA and what to pass on to them. Okay, guys, so let's get started. And of course, if you have any questions, we'll get to them in the end, so don't worry. Okay, so as I said, last video we talked about how to create an account, a stealth account, and or if you want to buy it, so where you can buy it from. So now let's talk about how you get it running. Okay, so again, just like with purchasing or creating accounts, you should do it very, very slow. So at the last video, I recommended that you don't open a new store until your current store gets to around $500 in sales a month. Now, it's not, it's not mandatory. It's not accurate sciences. It just from my experience, okay? Because when you get the time to get to $500 sales in a month, which should take you about 2 to 3 weeks if you do what I told you to do, those 2-3 weeks will allow you to really establish your store. Okay, so this is exactly what we're going to do in those 2 to 3 weeks. Okay, how are we going to get those first $500 in sales? So what do? So if you have a store without limits, okay, because when you create a store, okay, when you don't buy it ready, when you create a store, it usually will come with limits like absurd, like 10 items, sorry, and $500 in sales. So your first goal is to max out the limits so you can ask for an increase, because if you don't max them out, eBay won't let you increase the limits, okay? And we have to increase them to move forward. So you have 10 items, right? So what do? So those 10 items have to be inexpensive. Inexpensive, guys, okay? They should range between $30 to $80. Okay, and from a safe category. Now, what do I mean? I saw in one of the dropshipper Facebook groups here in Israel the other day, I saw a post. This person, he was sharing, he got an MC011, and he didn't understand why. He said, I have a new store. I've uploaded 3 items two of them were $500 and the other one was $1,000, and they were all electronics. Now maybe he bought a store, you know, with limits, and that's why he was able to afford himself to upload these expensive items. But if you're a brand new seller, even if you buy a store with limits, you're still a new seller. There's still no selling record, selling history on this account. So in eBay's eyes, you're still a newbie. Okay, and then this person comes and uploads 3 items with a price of $5,000 to $1,000. So of course they shut him down. And nonetheless, from electronics category, which, you know, considers more risky because usually it involves phone or TVs or whatever. So that's why I say go for, you know, not so like cheap, like $10 items, but you know, you're trying to establish yourself as a legit business. So between $30 and $80, and from a safe category. And when I mean safe, don't do electronics, okay? I usually go for home and garden. It's the safest, okay? Now, remember, it's a new account without limit. So we have like 10 items, right? So you start with 1 to 2 items a day. And then you ask for a limit increase. So either it will take you like 5 days to get to the 10 items, or you'll max out the $500 limit you have, whichever comes first. Okay, but you do it very slowly. You don't do all the 10 items at one day, okay? After the increase, by the way, if you're asking yourself right now, so how do I get an increase? It's very, very simple. On your dashboard, on your eBay store, on your dashboard, where you see your limits, there's a little button that say ask for increase or upload your limits or something like that. If you click on it, it will get you to a screen, a window where you can write your request. Okay, so you simply put there, hello eBay support, I ask to increase my limits so I can increase my store, thank you. That's it, really. That's all you need to write to them. Now, of course, they won't they won't oblige, right? They will answer you back with a couple of questions, okay? And you answer those questions, and then they will increase your limits. Okay, I usually like to call, but right now with the coronavirus, they still haven't reopened their phone service yet. So I just write to them and it works perfectly. Okay, so if you want, we can talk about those questions they ask later. Okay, so let's say you got your increase, and they usually will increase to 100 items and $5,000. And then you can start uploading up to 3 items a day. Okay, using the file import, the SaleFreaks file import. Again, if you watched the previous webinar, I recommended that in the beginning, for a new store, you don't use the locator or any other method, you use the file import. Why? Because then you have the option to really do a thorough item research, okay? And so the probability to sell items is higher, okay? Because you put more thought into it, okay? And since your store is new and we're trying to generate sales, and you don't have very much high limits, so it's better to do it through the file import, okay? So each day you only have to upload 3 items a day, which means that after items falling on Vero and stuff, you only need to look for maybe, I say 5, maybe 6 items a day. If you search for 6 items a day, 3 will get uploaded for sure. Okay, guys? Then you keep doing it until you've reached about 50 items. Then you get on a basic subscription. So notice, we've opened the new store, right? We've uploaded like 2 items a day until we reached the 10 items limit. We asked for an increase. We got an increase. Okay, now our store is ready to run. Okay, this is when I start uploading 3 items a day until I reach 50 items. Why 50? Because eBay gives you free 50 listings a month. Okay, if you don't have a subscription, they give you 50 free listings a month. Now, the account is still very new, and I don't know if eBay will flip on me and they will close the account, okay? Even though they agreed to increase my limits. So I don't want to enroll to any subscription yet. So I'm gonna use those 50 free listings I get, okay? So I don't pay any insertion fee. And if you upload 3 items a day and you need to get to 50 items, it will take you about 2.5 weeks, maybe 3 weeks, okay? So if you don't get banned over these first 3 weeks, you should be fine, okay? I mean, you know, 3 weeks is like the test time for any new account. But if you didn't get any immediate ban in the first 3 weeks, you're okay to go, okay? So then I can enroll to a basic subscription. Now, basic store gives you 250 items, okay? Don't forget to enroll to monthly payment, okay? It's more expensive, but if you will get banned, then you can cancel the subscription without any fine, okay? Okay, so all of that, all that we've done so far is to max the limits with average price items from a safe category, ask for a limit increase, get the increase, keep uploading no more than 3 very well sourced items for 3 weeks until we maxed out our free 50 item listings. Then we enroll to a basic subscription. So far, so good, right, guys? This is the exact steps I take every time I open a new store. Okay, you have to be patient. You have to be patient. Okay, if you start maxing your limits at once, okay, if you get you know, after you ask them and they give you 100 items and you're planning on uploading 100 items over the next 3-4 days, you will get banned. Okay, you have to do it very, very slowly. Now, let's say you didn't create a store, you bought one, okay? You bought one and it already has limits. So what do you do? What do you do? It's very tempting because it already has limits. So people think they can just, you know, start uploading how many items they want. So no, guys, because when you buy those stores, they're not aged stores. They're not previously used stores, okay? There's a difference. If you buy a store from a person and that store was previously used, already making money on eBay, okay, with a sales history, as opposed to just a fresh new store that has limits but no sales history. So you can't go on raging and maxing your limits, okay? You have to do the same thing. So again, starting with 1 to 3 items a day for 2 to 3 weeks, which is again gives us 50 items, and then you get on a basic subscription. Okay, guys? So far, so good. So this is exactly what you do. Now, when you enroll to this subscription and you have a store, okay, you may not have the limits yet, okay? But when you subscribe to the store, I will just keep listing more items. So after those 2 to 3 weeks, I don't know why it says months, but after those 2 to 3 weeks, after you've gotten those first 50 free items, right? And you enroll to subscription, right? You can increase the amount to 5 to 10 items a day for a month, okay? Now, each month, you increase the number of items per day until you get to around 50 items. Don't forget, guys, that we're talking about here. This strategy applies to the non-API users among you, okay? The non-API users, okay? Because, again, let's remind ourselves, what is a non-API store? This, in eBay's eyes, supposed to be a manual store, okay? So eBay doesn't expect us to upload 100 items a day. Okay, so 50 is more than enough. Now, again, you do thorough research, so 50 items should give you a good conversion. Okay, so we've for the first 3 weeks, we've uploaded 3 items a day. Then we increase it to 5 to 10. Then each month we add some more, so 10 to 20, 20 to 30 items, then 30 to 40, and at last it's 40 to 50 items a day. Okay, and when you get to 50 items a day, just keep uploading them regularly, constantly. Okay, and of course, each time you max out your limits, just ask for more. And of course, guys, don't forget in the meantime to provide an excellent customer service. Okay, because of course, uploading items is very, very important tactic to get your store bigger and more profitable, and eBay sees you as a serious seller because you take care of your store and there's a movement in your store. But if you don't give a good customer service, you will get banned, especially at the beginning. Okay, that's why again I'm going back to this well-researched items. Okay, go for well-researched items because you only want to go for items with 4 high ranking or 4 stars or more. Okay, items that won't give you trouble at the beginning. Okay, you want to be a good boy. Okay, so this is for our first store. If you do this, guys, if you do this, I reckon that you should get to your first $500 in sales within your first month. Okay, within your first month. Okay, and then, like I explained in the previous video, it is time to get a new store. And then you do this procedure all over again. And then you get to another 500 in sales in the new store. And then you do it with your third store. And you keep doing it until you get to your 10th store or more. In the meantime, because you started very slowly, very consistently with very well-sourced items and good customer service, the probability of your first store, second store, third store, and so on to get banned is much lower. You see what I'm trying to teach you here? That's why I mentioned both in this video and the previous video, what's the answer to how to get to 10 stores from a single store? The answer is not what you maybe wanted to hear. Okay, the answer is take it very slow. Okay, if you take it too fast, you will get banned. You want to have a quiet head. By the time you get to open your second, third, fourth store, right? Each time you get to $500 in sale, your previous store is already established and oiled and well running. Okay, you see what I mean? Okay, so as I said in the previous video, it should take you a couple of months, but at least you'll get to keep all of them. Okay, and then you can start scaling them upwards. Okay, so this really brings us to the next topic, which is when it's time to integrate more suppliers, right? So as a part of the risk spreading strategy, right? Like, for example, keeping multiple accounts is also part of the spreading risks, right? So it's best not to rely on a sole supplier. Okay, now here in SaleFreaks, our default is Amazon, of course. Okay, and you know, if you used our managed account service, it's really great, and you have even less reasons to worry. But it doesn't change the fact that your first supplier probably will be Amazon. Okay, but you know, I recently started to work more and more with Walmart and Home Depot, and I promise, guys, to make a video for you on them. But they really prove themselves as nice competition to Amazon, okay? Because they both have easy returns, easy cancellations, you know, pretty much the same, okay? And good, even higher profit margins than Amazon. Okay, so it's best to study and familiarize with one supplier at a time, okay? Because each supplier has its tweaks, okay? So you want to get familiarized with the cancellations, policies, returns, everything, how it works. For example, today I've just discovered that for Home Depot, maybe again, maybe it's the coronavirus, but at the moment you don't have a chat, don't have a customer support chat. The only way to get support in Home Depot is to call them, okay? Which is, for me, is absurd because I don't like picking the phone, okay? Moreover, you know, I live in Israel, they're in the United States, our hours are usually off, right? We're not synchronized. So I'm not too happy with me having to call, okay? And, you know, that could be a problem because if a buyer asks to cancel or, I don't know, something went wrong and you need the customer service, it could be a problem, okay? So imagine yourself that I'm not yet familiar with Home Depot, but and Amazon, okay, because I'm a new dropshipper, okay, maybe like some of you who watch this webinar right now, and I take all of them at once. I integrate to my store, you know, Amazon and Walmart and Home Depot when I don't know how to manage those suppliers, okay. I barely know Amazon, and I started working with all of them because I can, okay, because SaleFreaks allows me, okay. It's a recipe for disaster, okay, because it's just a recipe for disaster, okay. Better to take one supplier at a time. So Amazon is very, very simple. Again, even if you choose to use our managed account service, it's even easier, okay. But then I would go on Walmart, okay, because they're similar, more or less, okay. But for example, cancellations on Amazon are instantly. I mean, if the order wasn't shipped yet, you have this button where you can choose cancel order, and the order will most probably will be canceled. Now in Amazon, I'm talking, yes. Now in Walmart, even though you made an order, okay, 2 hours ago, and it should be shipped in 4 days. I mean, it's nowhere close to get shipped. It can take a while to cancel an order. Okay, I've just discovered. I mean, you click the cancel button and it's pending, and you go to your account on a couple hours later and it's still pending. I mean, why it's pending so much? I mean, just cancel it. Okay, so start with Amazon, then go on Walmart, then go on Home Depot if you like. Of course, this is just my recommendations, but every supplier, take it slow. Okay, learn every supplier tweaks. Okay, now it's best to wait until you get steady daily sales from your first supplier, and then when you generate a couple of thousand of dollars in sale. Okay, so for example, if I've started working with Amazon as my first supplier, okay, I said to you that I'm waiting to generate about $500 in sales before I open a new store. But even though when I got to the $500 benchmark and I opened a new store, I still won't integrate a second supplier. I'll wait until I have $1K, $2K dollars, okay? When I really, maybe 3K, when I really came to learn Amazon, then I will go on to Walmart. Now, when you integrate a new supplier, start the same way like you did with your first supplier, which is slow. Again, upload up to 5 to 10 items a day and get experience with the second supplier. So I wasn't able to learn all that I've learned without hurting my stores if I hadn't worked slow. So, if I would decide I would work with Walmart and uploads 30 items a day, I would just lose it, okay? Because it's enough to have 2-3 cancellations at once and you don't know what to do with it, okay? So I started with 3 items, 5 items a day, then I got to 10 items a day. We generated first it was 1 sale a day, and then 3 sales a day, and then 5 sales a day, and now 30 sales a day. Okay, so you have to scale it slowly, and then you have to time to discover all these tweaks and how to handle them. Okay, instead of just doing all at once and getting hit in the face everything at once, and then your store is hurting and you give a bad customer service because you don't know you're not familiar with the supplier's tweaks yet, and you can get banned. Okay, So I told you, if you take it slow, it will take longer to get to 10 stores, but you will do it more safely and sustainably, okay? And then when you get to the 10th store, it probably, they will all be still standing and making you profits, of course. Okay, so let me just refresh the screen to see if there are any questions, so I'll know to address them later. Okay, great. Okay, guys, and so our last topic for today is when to hire a VA and what to pass on to them. So I've made an entirely webinar on VAs, and you can check it out later in this SaleFreaks Facebook group. But today I want to address it, in the context of how to start a new store running. Okay, so I know most of you are probably asking when it's time to get a VA. So I usually endorse you starting working by yourself with no help, because it will allow you, A, to get better, B, to understand the business, C, to really get professional yourself, and then you can teach it to your VAs. Because if you are not professional yourself and you're relying on a VA to like come prepared, let's say, and know the job on his own, and it does mistakes, you won't know about it because you don't know what to look for. So you won't know how to watch over him and how to monitor his work, okay? So in order to grow your business, you have to work on your business and not in your business, okay? And that's what I've said also in the webinar on the VAs. If you're busy with customer service and item sourcing and uploading, instead of exploring new suppliers and opening new stores, you're working in your business instead of on it. Okay, this is the definition between working on your business and in your business. Now, when you have one new store and you'll have hardly any sales, and most of your time will be on item sourcing, okay? And that's okay, because when you have a new store, you don't have any sales. So the majority of the work is sourcing good items. If you source good items with previous history sales on eBay, you're increasing the likelihood of selling it yourself, okay? And thus generating those, first dollars, those $500, okay? So when you get to $500 in sales, it's time to open a new store, as I said, and get a VA to do the sourcing and the customer service. Why? Because when you have a new store, you will no longer have the time to do this for your first store. You'll have to do it for your second store. Okay? Now, as we've discussed, in general, as a rule of thumb, if you manage to get to $500 in sales within your first month, it usually means your store is pretty much stable. Okay, so now it's time to take care and nurture and nurse a new store. So someone has to take care of the first store, and this is a VA. Okay, now a VA can start working 2 to 3 hours a day. People have this grasp in their mind that if you hire a VA, it's for a full-time job. No, it's not. Okay, if you only have work worth of 2 hours a day, it will be enough. There are people who are just looking for part-time job. Okay, so you are teaching him, the VA, how to do customer service. And if you want to learn how to do it, so I made a webinar on it as well. Again, everything is in this Facebook group. Just look it up. Okay, so you teach the VA how to do the sourcing the same way you did, and he does it now for the first store as well as the customer service, while you attend to the second store. And again, you generate another $500 in sale, and then you move to the third store, and then the VA takes on 2 stores. Okay, but instead of working 2 hours, maybe now you'll have to work 3 or 4. Depends on the how many work you have. Okay, and let's say your VA, you opened a couple more stores, or your stores are getting bigger, so there's more traffic, more sales, more complaints, maybe, naturally, right? When you increase, so there will be more customer service. So maybe your VA is now working like 4 or 5 hours a day, and you can't put on him anymore. So this is the time to get a second VA. Okay, just maintain your customer service very high quality, and you'll be okay. Yeah, okay, guys. So this was it for today. I know it seems short because I usually talk too much, and I make webinars of 1 hour, but it really shouldn't be too long because we already talked about it in the first part. Okay, so if you haven't watched the first part of this series last week, you can search it in this group. Okay, and where we talked about where and when to open new stores, and we talked about the general strategy, and today we talked about more tactically. Okay, so really how to do your first like initiation, okay, and how to generate the first sales, and how to work with your first VA, and so on. Okay, so let's just recap everything. So get a new store running very slowly with inexpensive prices. Okay, inexpensive items from a safe category. Again, I recommend home and garden, works every time. Okay, then you ask for a limit increase and increase the amount of items uploaded every month. So we said 1 to 2 items until you max out your initial limits, right? The 10 item limit. You ask for an increase. They will usually increase it to between 100 to 200 items and $5,000 to $10,000. And then you can start uploading 3 items a day. Okay, you get your first 50 items within 3 weeks. You get on to a subscription store, a basic store. Okay, and then you just increase it to 10 items. Okay, and then 20, 30, 40, until you get to 50 items a day. Wait until you get to steady daily sales with your first supplier, and then get to a couple $1,000 before you integrate another supplier. And I told you why, guys, because you don't want to take on too much at once, okay? Because it will keep you overwhelmed and your store will suffer. Okay, it's best to take things slow. Start with just 5 items, okay, which will generate, let's say, 1 sale a day from that supplier, and then increase the number of items you're uploading to get more and more sales, but do it very, very slowly, okay? And of course, hire a partial time VA when you open your second store, okay? So you can devote yourself to the first store because it's very, very sensitive, okay? I do it myself. I don't let my VAs touch the stores in its like two weeks, okay? And then you just repeat, okay? So I promised, before I answer the questions, guys, I promised I will say a couple of words of how to ask for a limit increase. So as I said, like now in the corona, you can't call them, okay? You have to write to them, okay? So either you can do it by the live chat if you log in with your account details on eBay UK, or just as I said, on your dashboard beneath the limits box, you have ask for an increase. Okay, and then you get a window opened with a separate box, and you ask your request, and you just ask for, hello, I'm a new seller and I'm interested in increasing my store. Please help me do so by increasing my sales limits. Thank you. And then they will reply with some questions you have to answer before they'll actually increase your limits. And those questions are, what are your intentions on eBay? Which of course is selling, right? You tell them, sell. I'm going to sell on eBay. And then usually the second question is, where do you get your items? Okay, so you don't admit to get them from another retailer because it's against eBay's rules, right? So what I say is, per eBay's policies, wholesale dropshipping is allowed. So I tell them I have a wholesale supplier, and I mention a name. Now, the name, and this is my, based on my experience, my conversations with eBay representative, it's better to have a legit name I say it again, it's better to have a legit name. Okay, most people think they can make up a company. Well, guess what? One rude eBay representative decided to Google up the name I gave him. Okay, and then I figured I should give him a real name. So if you're having trouble finding, a name of a wholesale supplier, just go to Google and click wholesale. We said garden, right? So let's say garden items supplier. Okay, now disregard the ads, but you have here, you see this? Down to earth distributors. So everything with the word wholesale and distributor is good, okay? Because this means these are wholesale suppliers, okay? You can only buy in bulk and then resell it, okay? You see, you don't even have prices here, okay? So you can give them this name, you can give them any other name, okay? So let's see this. It has to be the actual website, okay? So also this one, Sparks Gift Wholesaler, okay? So you can give them whatever name you want, okay? As long as it's legit. So you tell them, I work with down-to-earth distributors and I sell their items from the category of home and garden, okay? And they will ask whether how long will it take you to ship the items, and you tell them about 3 handling days and about 3 or 5 days shipping time. You decide, okay? And they will ask you if you're going to provide tracking numbers, and you say of course, because you will, okay? So they ask these kind of questions, and it's really intuitive. I don't think you'll get in trouble answering them, besides the question of where do you get your items from. Okay, so if you can take anything from this video, take the wholesale supplier, okay, a legit one, okay. So this is really the question they ask, and they review it, and then they will just increase your limits. Okay, guys, so this is it for now, and now let's go for questions. So I promised questions. So let's see what we have here. All good. Hi. Okay. Sharon says, don't forget about increasing limits after first sale. So yeah, I don't actually do that. I'm not really certain what you say here. I mean, why should I ask for increasing limits after first sale? I ask for increasing limits when I max them out, okay? So, when you open a new store and you get 10 items, it's not so difficult to max them out, okay? But when they give me 100 items, I can get my first sale even without getting to 100 items, okay? Even without maxing the limits, okay? So when I'll max them out again, I'll ask again for an increase, okay? When counting the age accounts days from the day registration or to eBay, or when I upload my first list. Registration, okay, the day you open your account, okay? How do I increase limits this time of the corona, and what to answer to eBay questions? So that's what I just said. You can contact them, okay? If you log into eBay UK with your account details, they have a live chat like Amazon, so you can just contact them there, or just go to your store dashboard, and you'll see underneath the limit box, you'll see ask for increase or request an increase or something like that, okay? And you answer what I just told you. All the stores I try to create get suspended within the first hour after I create a seller account and verify the phone number. I contact eBay and try to reinstate the account, but they say the account is high risk and the suspension is permanent. They don't even ask any questions about my business plan. Okay, I see what happens here. So let me tell you what happened here. If you get suspended before you even list your first item, okay, which is also happened to me, you have to blame your setup. And by setup, I mean the proxy you're using, okay? The proxy you're using to hide your IP for your non-API account is shit. I'm sorry for my French, okay? You know, there's a real issue with proxies. It's really hard to find quality ones, I suppose. I don't recommend any, okay? If you want a recommendation to good proxy that won't get you suspended before even making your first list, you can check the Aspkin. Remember, guys, I recommended this forum for you. This is a forum dedicated only to stealth accounts, both eBay and PayPal. So you have you know, all of these discussions related to proxies. You know, make your research. But the answer to your questions is entirely dependent on the proxy you're using. Okay, so switch your proxy and you'll be okay. What proxy providers would you recommend? I don't recommend anything, okay? I can't recommend. It's not a matter of me not wanting you to know what I'm using. It's just everyone has to do his own research, okay? Just do your own research, okay? There are enough forums, okay? You can search Ask in here and you will get recommendations, and just give it a try, guys, okay? So this is it for today. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any other questions, please drop them in the comments below and I'll answer them later. And thank you for spending time with me. I hope you learned something. Bye-bye.